Military tactics may win battles measured in months and years, but in wars that span generations, it is values and ideas that deliver the ultimate victory. We are despised by terrorists because we choose tolerance over tyranny. Their ambition is to divide us and to poison our humanity with a toxic rhetoric of hate. Our difference is the distance between shadow and light, between despair and hope, between the ruin of anarchy and the promise of order. We do not only fight wars, we pit and shelter the innocent victims of war. This is why we are not indifferent to the devastations of our neighbors near and distant. This is why we speak of the violence and aggression visited upon innocent civilians in Gaza, the illegal attack on Qatar, and the tensions that scar the wider region. It is not only because of the culture of impunity that makes such acts intolerable, but because our own bitter experience has taught us that such violence never ends where it begins. We do not believe that the sanctity of human life should be trapped in the corridors of endless debate. That is why we say, without stuttering and without doubt, that a two-state solution remains the most dignified path to lasting peace for the people of Palestine. For too long, this community has borne the weight of moral conflict. For too long, we have been caught in the crossfire of violence that offends the conscience of humanity. We come not as partisans, but as peacemakers. We come as brothers and sisters of a shared wall, a wall that must never reduce the right to live into the currency of devious politics. The people of Palestine are not collateral damage in a civilization searching for order. They are human beings, equal in worth, entitled to the same freedoms and dignities that the rest of us take for granted. We want to make the choice crystal clear. Civilized values over fear. Civilized values over vengeance. Civilized values over bloodshed. We show the opportunities that peace brings, just as the extremists hope to drive apart rival communities and different religions. We work through multilateral platforms within the rule of law to build the consensus and support that makes this immensely difficult and dangerous task that much easier. This is how we deny our enemies the space they crave to fuel tension and despair. It is our experience that this offers the best, perhaps only hope for peace, reconciliation, and victory for the civilized values of a shared humanity.
Can Nigeria wake up to the reality going on in Washington now, according to Gallimore? What Afra?
Let me just say that the president is back now. Whether his lobbying trip did not succeed or not, nobody knows. But from what we are seeing, the president just walked in just a few hours ago back to Nigeria, revealing that the international advanced high-tech diplomacy he was trying to play with the United States of America might have backfired, and that was how he came in quietly and went straight to Aso Rock to actually, cool off and to reveal what is actually going on. The first thing remains that Biafra is a question Nigeria can never answer.
The question Nigeria never answer.
I'm just being honest to you.
What kind of answer?
Yes, because you saw it very clearly that it was an intentional thing that the U.S. government actually disclosed or made something that's supposed to be confidential and make it open. It has become a public thing. How Nigeria government, initiated a lobbying process that took them $9 million.
$9 million US.
And to run for 6 months. And for them exposing such thing that's supposed to be confidential, according to African Confidential, the platform that publishes is African Confidential. So it's a high-level secret engagement that was supposed to be exposed. But Bola Ahmed Tinubu felt otherwise, that Nuhu Ribadu did not do his work very well. How can you go there and after lobbying $9 million and nothing came out of it at the end of the day, He came back quietly and now went to Aso Rock, to cross his leg and begin to have a proper, rethinking of how this thing has become a reality. Nigeria has actually collapsed on the process of trying to lobby the US government, one, to step down on issue of genocide. Can you imagine? On this administration, I learned it was Nuhus Ribadu that was engaged in that process. Not only that, they discovered also that it looks like, the agitation for the restoration of the sovereignty of Biafra has taken another deeper dimension within the US government under the former Secretary of State, Mark Pompeo, who happens to be former Secretary of State to Donald Trump's first term. How it happened, okay, we don't know. I am being honest to you, I don't know. But the reality is this, that instead of seeing how to resolve this thing, high level of diplomacy and all that, we are hearing that there are now options. We can see a document. This document actually showed very clearly that what is coming is going to surprise millions of Nigerians, Africans, and the world when it is going to be made public. The decision of the United States of America, not the decision of Asuroko, not the decision of AU, not the decision of ECOWAS, not the decision of EU, not the US government decision on the issue of trying to combat or if possible reduce or possibly eradicate, finally eliminate anything that has to do with continuous killing under whatever name you call it. And I have looked at it very well. There's no how they're going to say it. And Ralimo made it very clear. Ralimo is a US senator who led US senators delegate team to Aso Rock to visit Nigerian government. He has gone back and said that Nigeria is the worst place a Christian can stay and live. You can go out for shake. That mean to come. While he was making that statement, Bola Ahmed Tinubu was not in the country. Everything was on the autopilot. No media briefing. Nobody can counter Ralimo as at that time. And secondly, Nigeria have already indicted themselves. I keep on saying it. Muslim ticket was a serious threat. And a door opening for proper agitation for the restoration of the first Jewish nation in Africa. And that was how they majestically went to United Nations General Assembly, where the Vice President, Shettima, sat down and told the whole world, including America and Israel, that they are under direct threat of the Nigerian military, who are capable of doing anything. You are threatening America, you are threatening Israel in the United Nations Assembly. That was the reactivation and solution that triggered, that engineered, not Igbo. What do we do? Because you cannot go against American foreign policy. Some of the American foreign policies include targeting terrorism anywhere in the world. Yes, it's part of, including Israel. And you came and you are supporting this Hamas in the United Nations. Then you already declared yourself an enemy of the world. You have declared yourself an enemy of even Nigeria. You have declared yourself an enemy of the United States of America. You have declared yourself an enemy of Israel. Today, I said it, that it is going to be a massive jubilation all over the world concerning what is about to come. Now you might wake up one day, you discover that this man they call Donald Trump, the 47th president of the United States of America, has signed a particular document signaling that there is going to be a nation called BIAFRA. Simple as that. And there's nothing you can do. And like Arimo said, I'm not being honest to you. We are going to present it as an option to US government. That is Arimo talking about. One of the most sophisticated, intelligent senator in the history of America. That they are going to present it. That the only way out to stop the killing is to declare a Christian nation called Biafra sovereignty. Nigeria will not tell you they are not aware that there is systemic killing in Nigeria for over 30-40 years now. It is ongoing. The Nigerian government seems to not be too serious about it, but people are dying, and the number of people who have died more are Christians. So there's need to create a safe haven for them, and that's the reason why they are telling you, Nigerian government who went there and be spending that kind of money, things have actually gone out of hand. You wake up one day to hear the story of this great nation, kingdom, emerging from Africa. And I can tell you, on a good note, that is the only solution. Those who are running away from the Middle Belt and the Northern hegemony, Northern Hemisphere, where are they heading to? They are looking for a safe place. And the only safe place is where they can go and be with their brothers and sisters. Already, let me just tell you, whether you like it or not, the New York Times has just published recently that there was a man in Anambra State that sells screwdriver. His name is Emeka. He was the one that ordered United States of America to bomb Sokoto. New York Times. Go and check it, New York Times. I'm just adding up on this platform for you to know what is actually going on. But I can tell you in honest truth, the White House is currently bubbling. And I can tell you that Biafra is already in Washington as I talk to you now.
Okay, if you are watching here, make sure you click on the like button, drop your comment, and also share the program to others. God bless you and have a nice day.